You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Nick, Alex, I Yield to Nolan, Sid, and Ender Phoenix.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 718. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. Alongside with me, he brings the awesome. It's I Yield to No One.
Well, Matt, did you get a chance to read the Helldiver 2 updates?
Yes.
What do you think?
I think I'm done with Helldivers 2 for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not excited about something that makes me start. Let me go back to this. Destiny 2, the reason I quit it is because they started all this nonsense about like doing stuff and limited time engagements. And that's what I see that they're going to be doing with that update. No, I don't deal with games that deal with FOMO.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
He likes to set everything on fire, and apparently he stopped playing Helldivers. It's Matt.
To answer your all question, yes, I got sent to bed last week. That's what I got done.
You got sent to bed?
Yeah, I sent myself to bed.
Oh, you sent yourself to bed. Okay, that's different.
Nah, I mean, is it really?
Yeah?
See, you had that same pause that I did on our pre-show conversation.
Because I was thinking about it for a second. Sending yourself to bed is taking care of yourself, so you're self-aware of that you need sleep, where if somebody sends you to bed, they're like, yo, you're not even conscious anymore, just go sleep.
I could still send myself to bed. I'm aware I need sleep.
You're throwing me off. Alex hopefully will be here. He's having a little bit of issues with his recording software, so hopefully he'll come back. But I don't know if that's going to happen, so we started the show because we were delayed already, and, you know, I don't know what else to say. So, how the hell are you, gentlemen?
Not too bad. Like I was saying before we started recording, I have to say that I think this past week was a good week for video games.
Although you kind of poo-pooed on the state of play after a little marathon.
Well, so, because that's just my opinion. I mean, I know a lot of people were excited for what was at the end of State of Play, and you have every right to be excited. But for me, once Marathon was mentioned, it went downhill.
And we'll get into it, obviously, but there's a lot of people hating on the end of the State of Play.
Really? Not just me? I thought it was just me.
Well, for lack of better terms, we're going to talk about it anyway. The new God of War got announced, which I want to say I called. I said that was going to happen. But you're not really a God of War fan, so to speak. Like you're interested in playing the games, but you haven't played them yet. Therefore, I wouldn't consider you a God of War fan yet.
Exactly, and that's why I wasn't excited. But I will caveat by saying it did look good. I was intrigued.
But there are a lot of people, we'll get into it, but there are a lot of people hating on it, and for the most stupidest reasons I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, we play God of War for Kratos, we don't play it for a woman, although I live streamed the entire State of Play, and the first thing I said was, this could be boring if her combat skills are not that great, and she came out to kick some ass. I was like, okay, I'm sold. She was kicking some ass. But, you know, just a little Easter egg. Do you know who, Matt too, do you know who plays Faye?
Yes.
No.
She, did you watch Daredevil?
No.
You didn't watch Daredevil?
No.
Okay. No. She is, what's her name in that show now?
Karen Page.
There you go. She plays Karen Page.
Throughout the entire show, I was saying, somebody tell Matt Murdock, because he's going to come in there and kick some ass.
You know, it would be funny if there was a cameo. Just Charlie Cox throwing on the screen real quick.
That's right.
right.
Do you know who plays Frank?
I know the name. I can't think it off the top of my head.
Jack Quaid.
Yes, Jack Quaid. That's it. All right, let's continue on with the show. I gotta bring up the agenda again. Let's do our updated trophy count, and I am level 987, total trophies of 35,825 with 1,044 plats. I got one. Alex is level 534, total trophies of 11,325 with 210 plats. Yield.
Hold on here. There we go. Sorry, I was doing something else. I had to pull it back up. I am it's not on that screen. Level 545 with a trophy count of 11,981 and a plat count of 230.
And I guess I should say Alex has a plat count of 210 in 209 games. Matt.
Level 224 with 1,392 trophies and 0 plats.
And Sid is level 902, total trophies of 28,168 with 869 plats. Although that's not his current account, so I don't know. And he won't unprivatize his new account, so I have no idea what his real account is.
Well, he did.
I don't know what
he did earn a trophy because it was different than last week.
Yeah, he played The Last of Us 2. And I don't know why, he hates me. Because I sent him a message saying, take off the privacy settings. He didn't do it. So, I don't know. He doesn't like me anymore. He also didn't send a show free trophy this week. So, we're going to jump right into the rarity update. Yield, you got that for us?
I do. I'm trying to multitask. Here we go. Okay. Edge top scored within the division with 72 points this week, moving him to 1,405 points on the top. The race for second remains tight. Both Pee Wee and Doc Chicken scored similar this week, 15 and 17 points each, meaning there is 41 points between them. Pee Wee with 1,061 and Doc Chicken with 1,020. It's also a tight race between 4th through 6th. Cy Tykist holds 4th at the moment with 825, following a 31-point haul this week. Nitro is 5th with 808 after scoring 21. Murky Frazier closed the gap to just 4 points with 42, moving him to 804. Rolling on the floor, laughing out loud, Z scored well this week with 52, with the second highest divisional score taking him to 734 points. Gareth stays in 8th with 38 point score this week, now sits at 675. He moved a little further clear of Eifert Hellfire 90, who scored 14, and advances to 641. X-Nightmare picked up some points and some trophies this week. He had 13, moving him to 381 in 12th. Redbeard Rick scored 38 to close the gap on myself, but remains in the second demotion spot on 581. I had 12-point advantage over Rick, or hold a 12-point advantage over Rick with 603. Currently safe, but it's a very tight race between the two of us with a couple of weeks to go. I have to say, if I don't get demoted now, next month will probably be my last month in Division 1 since the inception of this contest. I'm just going to point that out there. On to Division 2, Shoddy Sniper closes in on 2,000 points thanks to a score of 100 plus this week, 107 to be precise, which was the highest score overall again for the second consecutive week. He leads the way with 1,968 points. Meets Goats a lot, strengthened his grip on second with an impressive 52, getting him beyond the 1,000-point milestone to 1,005. CJ and Dupes are still in contention for the promotion, but lost a little ground this week as they recorded scores of 20 and 27 each. This leaves CJ with 961 and Dupes with 952. California Wayne can relax and look forward to another season in Division 2. He's not likely to go up or down this season. He earned the second highest score within the division with 58 points, moving him to 747. The same can be said for Mr. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 84, who had 48 and moves to 668. Tricky put in 20 points this week, taking him beyond the 500-point barrier with 501. The Grounded Gamer regained some ground by scoring 35, bringing him up to 493. Crick 09 had one of his better weeks, scoring 33, moving him on to 391, and looks to be safe from demotion to Division 3. Alex was back to his trophy-earning ways. He scored 23, moving him 4 points. Moving him to within 4 points. Okay. Of 300, with 296 points for the season in 10th spot. Prometheus 101 had legacy trophies earn him 10 points, taking him to 227, while its Waterfields 1 also relied on his legacy trophies, earning 7, getting him to 205. On to Division 3, we have the Big Don was trophyless again this week, but had legacy trophies for a 2-point addition this week, moving him to 580. Murray, 2011, is still clear in second place with 476, followed by an 8-point increase. The Chasing Pack all bettered the top 2 scores this week. Dodge Williams in third had 21, taking him to 390, 86 points behind Murray. Homer Gets Duff stays fourth with 353, thanks to a 15-point score. Resident Daryl top scored the division with 53, including the Plat and Resident Evil Requiem, getting him up to 319. The Brain 76 stays 6th with 195, thanks to a 7-point score. Dat One Seagull picked up some good points and moved up a position as a result by earning the Plat and Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. His 28 points takes him to 177. Departed 570 and Darth Knight 82 both had single-digit scores, 4 for Departed, 3 for Darth Knight, leaving them with 167 and 163 respectfully. Big Bernardo B climbed above Stink Palm into 10th with a score of 14 and now sits with 118. Stink Palm, meanwhile, is just 2 points behind at 116 after hitting 3 points. Kalai earned herself 4 points and now moves on to 37 as she looks to finish... My phone wanted to go to sleep. As she looks to finish strongly. I totally lost my spot. Rarest trophies of the week. In 5th, we have Shoddy Sniper 123 with CQC FTW from Resident Evil, 7.68%. In 4th, we have Resident Daryl with We Don't Need a Bigger Boat, Call of Duty HQ, 7.6%. 3rd, we have Pee-wee with Platinum Trophy and Starfield at 5.81. 2nd, we have California Wayne, Gracie Pride in EA Sports UFC with 3.47%. And the rarest trophy of the week belongs to Redbeard Rick off Widenson Pet. Probably said that wrong. GTA 4 at 1.29%. That is your rarity update.
All right. Alex has fixed his issues. Welcome, Alex. How are you, sir?
A little less annoyed now, but yeah, I was actually glad I was able to record with you all because I obviously have thoughts about some of the games that have been announced as well as the game that I've been playing. So yeah, it's just good to be here, Tricky.
All right, so let's get into what we're playing. Since we haven't heard from you really this show so far, tell us what you've been playing, sir.
I recycle a lot of the names I usually play. I even went back and did more Subnautica Below Zero because while everyone else is getting to enjoy Subnautica 2, I'm still base building mini aquariums for all my different pets in Subnautica Below Zero. I even bought the PS5 War Master Edition of Darksiders, so I will be playing that at some point. I bought the 2-pack for the PS4, the Darksiders 1 and 2, and then I just bought the $10 upgrade, so it was about $18 for the War Master Edition of the PS5 game, which was saving me about $11, or well, $11, $12, which is nice, because the PS5 version is usually $30. So if that option is still open for you, that's a good route. But I haven't started playing Darksiders yet, because I started playing Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, which is one of the free games this month for PlayStation Plus for the Essential subscription. And I kind of, to give a background, the reason why I decided to play this game, I wanted to play the first game, being a Smash Brothers fan. I played Smash Brothers since the 64, and I really just I passed on the first game, didn't play it, and I really just kind of wanted to check it out to see how good it was. I grew up on Nickelodeon, watched a lot of the Nickelodeon shows like Ren and Stimpy and Angry Beavers, and so like it seems like a match for me, like a perfect match. You got Smash Brothers, you got Nickelodeon, like just very big parts of my upbringing. So I said, you know what, fuck it, I'll go for the Platinum Trophy. And the game's biggest flaw is also its biggest, like, good job. Like, the biggest pro is the biggest con is that it's a Smash Brothers clone. So what I mean by that is, it is it obviously benefits from building on the back of what Smash Brothers has done, while also being a game that's trying to be Smash Brothers, but not as good. So you're just like, why am I not just playing Smash Brothers? So yeah, in general, I mean, it's a serviceable Smash Brothers clone. It's a serviceable platform brawler. As far as the roster of Nickelodeon characters goes, I think they did a good job. Because even if you're like me and you grew up in the 90s watching Nickelodeon, we're in 2026, there's still enough representation there from the old crew to be enjoyable. Like Reptar's there from the Rugrats, and you've got Ren and Stimpy. And you've got the Angry Beavers, who you can switch on the fly. You can play as Norbert or Daggett at any given moment. They've got a whole bunch there. The Ninja Turtles are there. And hell, Rocksteady's even one of the DLC characters. So there's only 25 characters with 4 DLC, so 29 total if you buy the 4 DLC characters. But for the most part, I'd say they did a good job picking the characters. Although some franchises get better representation than others. The Avatar franchise, Ninja Turtles, and then SpongeBob. SpongeBob's got a ton of characters in this game. So about a third of the roster is just kind of from those franchises themselves. And then there's the stages in this. That's kind of one of the things that I enjoy most about Smash Brothers is kind of like the fan service that goes into the stages. And there's some pretty good stages that go into this game. Like you fight on a floating platform in front of the Technodrome for one of the stages, and it shoots a giant laser that creates like a stage hazard, which is really nice. And there are nice touches when it comes to each of the characters. Like Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life has the as one of his like side charge moves has the Succomatic Vacuum from the pilot episode of Rocco's Modern Life. He also has a pogo stick and a jackhammer. So you see these little things from the cartoons that make you like go back and be like, oh, there was actually some thought put into these movesets. Garfield's up charge is a yawn stretch. He also becomes a magician for one of his other charges, the down charge, and his forward charge is like just a chicken leg, because obviously Garfield likes to eat. So as far as the characters goes and their movesets, everything I've seen so far makes sense. SpongeBob blows bubbles. He's also got a net that he hits you with. So yeah, but it just, going back to the whole Smash thing, even though it is like, I mean, it's a fun game, I would say that it's more fun when you have people to play with. I mean, these type of games are best when you're playing in a party mode with other people, because the trophy list, grinding through the trophy list is just kind of like it's not going to take you super long, and most of the trophies aren't that hard. There may be one that gives you some trouble, but it's just like you got to do 100 battles, and you got to beat Arcade with all the characters, and it's just one of these things where there's a lot of grinding through battles, and a lot of that for most people is going to be on your own, and it's kind of a miserable trophy list in that regard, where I say it's not going to take you super long, but it's just the monotony of doing the battles over and over again just isn't super enjoyable. So this game is at its best when you're playing with friends, like any Smash Brothers game. And just kind of to give some examples of just how this game reminds you of Smash Brothers. The Jimmy Neutron stage in this game morphs kind of like you would see at Pokemon Stadium. Every fighter has their own super move, except instead of trying to bust a star or something, as you would in Smash Brothers, or bust the Smash Brothers icon to earn the move, you just build up a meter. Items that cause you to grow big and also shrink to a smaller size. Invader Zim's level reminds you of playing on the Great Fox from Super Smash Brothers 64. Just things like that like just remind you of Smash Brothers. That again, While this game is fun because it was built very much in the vein of Super Smash Brothers, it's not Super Smash Brothers, and you're kind of like, if I'm going to play a party brawler, why am I not just playing that? But, I mean, it's a fine game. It also seems like they made a sequel to the original game pretty quickly. I don't know if there's any plans to make another one, but the game just kind of seems like Smash Brothers, very much, especially with Ultimate, it started out with like just a celebration of Nintendo, and then with Ultimate we have, a litany of characters from Snake to Banjo to Sonic to Sora, and it feels like very much a celebration of video games in general. This game just feels like we can make money off a Super Smash Brothers style game, and we have a bunch of characters to throw in there like Nigel from the Wild Thornberries and Patrick Star from SpongeBob and, Aang from Avatar. So let's just throw all of them together and make a Smash Brothers like game because it'll be popular. So while Smash Brothers feels like a celebration, this just feels kind of like a money grab. So it plays fine. There's a really good amount of fan service in the game for Nickelodeon fans, but again, if you're playing a party brawler, if you already have access to Smash Brothers, just boot that up for, an hour or so, and you kind of will get the same experience as you would playing this game. So that's my only thing. It's not a bad game at all. It's just kind of another Smash clone that just lives in the shadow of Smash Brothers. So,
all right, Yield.
Played some more 007 First Light. As we were talking pre-show, Tricky and I'm just a smidge bit farther along than he is. Dove back into everybody's golf hotshots, working on just unlocking people, advancing that game. Did some more hell diving with Prepare to Die or Scum and the Brain 76, just messing around, working on super credits and things like that. Matter of fact, I think when we're done recording, we're going to knock out today's daily. And then also been playing some Roadcraft, both single player. I am down to the last 2 maps of the base game, and then have a long grind to go for the 5,000 kilometer trophy. I'm only 20% of the way there, and I'm not like fast traveling vehicles from base to base. Like, I'm trying to legit drive, and I'm still not even a quarter of the way there. But I'm also playing a multiplayer map with Nitro and Prepare to Die or Scum, and we're about halfway through the game on that one. So I'm hoping my mileage counts. I think it does, because the bridge building counted. So I would think that would count. Other than that, that's been about it this week. Just those 4 games.
All right, Matt.
So I think with 2 weeks, I got a couple of different things that I've been playing. First up on the Switch, I just played more Tears of the Kingdom. Just putzing around, basically. I'm not doing it in any sort of priority or rush or whatnot. I'm just trying to solve things differently than I did when I did my first playthrough. And then I also did, let's see, what else did I play? Jesus Christ, it's been a long 2 weeks. I went back in and I started playing Armored Core 6 again. One of my favorite YouTubers was going through his first playthrough, so it kind of got me instigated to go back in, and I'm playing on what's known as New Game Plus Plus, so it's the 3rd time going through the game where you can get like the true ending. And I kind of went in and I started building my AC out differently. In the last versions I was playing, my AC had 2 giant miniguns and 2 flamethrowers. And now I made like a more speedy build, something with a lot of melee and missile tracking. And I'm kind of just going through the first couple missions with no real issue. And I also took the new AC for a run in the arena mode, which is just, escalating difficulty in one-on-one combat. And I was able to get through all the top tier S rank fighters. So I think the build's working. I'll continue playing through for a little bit anyways and see how far this build can take me through the 3rd time of the story. I also played a little bit of Unspottable. I don't know if you guys heard of this game. It's a party game, essentially, where you get dropped into like a map, and it's you and your other people playing, and basically everybody on the map looks exactly the same. You have to find yourself first, and you do that just by moving your character around and seeing which one on the screen moves in the directions you're putting. And the goal is to attack the other players. Now, what happens is all those other characters, like let's say there's 5 of you playing, so there's 5 avatars, but the map is filled with like 30 avatars, and the rest of them are robots. And the goal being that you have to be able to identify and take out all the other players first. So it's a fun thing. And my one buddy, Greeth, taught me, he's like, well, you can, you move around too much like a human. Look at all the robots. They run in straight lines. They walk in straight lines. So he helped me out a little bit, understanding a little bit more how to play the game. I put more time into Pragmata. I got through a pretty significant portion of the story. I think I'm at like the last chapter or the second to last chapter. It's amazing how much, when you look at the upgrades and the different things you can do in the game, how you think you're done and then suddenly there's more for you to do. So I almost had a perfect on all training missions. There's just one mission I'm having a difficulty with. And then I thought I was done. And suddenly I level up my hub. And now I've got like 20 more missions too. I'm like, son of a bitch. So there's a lot more to do in that. I hit a story beat that really it was kind of predictable. When I was presented this scenario early on in playing the game, I was like, well, I feel like I can't trust that person. And sure enough, I was proven right. So I still am having a lot of fun with the game. It still plays really well, and I look forward to finishing that in the next week or two. I went in and I started up a new career mode in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. I started playing a DLC that I downloaded a while back. For those of you familiar with like the MechWarrior series, basically it deals with the clans invading the inner sphere, and as you're going on missions, you're kind of met with these unsurmountable enemies, and your only chance to win is really just to escape without getting scrapped. So I did one of the first missions in that one, and it's as exciting as I thought it would be. So I've been having fun in trying that out, maybe trying different builds on some of my mechs. I also put more time into Slay the Spire 2, playing predominantly multiplayer, just playing with friends. A run could take you anywhere from like an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on how well you synergize or how quickly you make your upgrades and choices. So it's still so much to do in the game. I have a lot of unlocks to do, and the game is constantly going through iteration. And the devs haven't even released the final mode, meaning like the game. So the first Slay the Spire and the second Slay the Spire, you have 3 acts that you need to get through. But in the first game, and they did this, was they actually released it where, you had the 3 acts, and then at some point later, you had to fight the giant heart, which represented the spire. They don't have that in the game yet. So really all my friends and I are doing right now is we're going through earning all the upgrades, all the, unlocking all the potions and cards and things like that. So there's still a lot of game to do. I've done well with 1 to 2 of the classes. There's 4 classes overall right now. So there's a lot more that I can do with the game. And I also did some, what else was it? What the heck was I playing? Oh, this was a game that I tried based off of Thomas's excitement on the Summer Games Fest. I played the prologue of a game called 1666 Amsterdam. Basically, you're a witch. I'm thinking it's kind of like the olden days, but there's also a link to like the present day where you're the daughter of a guy who is the cat for this witch, and very confusing story. I didn't know anything about it until it got announced, and then Thomas seemed very excited about it. So I downloaded the promo because it was on Steam. You could do it on PC. I don't know if it's available on on the consoles, but basically you start off and you're meeting with these other cultists, and you get to pick a cat to be your Baratzi or something. It's some weird language, but all the cats have different personalities, and you basically have to choose which one will accompany you on your trip. And then when that happens, you get kind of shot forward to this future where you're a girl meeting up with this professor that your dad knew because you have a letter that you can't read, and you're walking around the library to find things that will help you decipher the letter. And that's when you discover you can do like magic. Then you're basically reliving your father's memories where he has sex with this woman who we think is a witch. So that was very odd, I will say. And as they were having sex on the bed, you could see that the woman was naked from the view that they had, but the guy still had on his boxers. I'm like,
witchcraft.
All right, sure. Basically. But from what they were saying is the developers of this game were some of the developers, one of the main guys on the original Assassin's Creed. So it's got a very timey aesthetic to it, meaning like a very period drawn. So it was an interesting demo. I don't think it did anything to entice me to actually play the game because it didn't have any of the combat. It didn't show any of the what you're actually doing in the game. I could say it looked good. The voice acting was okay. Some of the graphics were a little weird. The cats looked a little off, but evidently the game still got a long way to go. So hopefully anybody who's interested in this will look more into it. But I probably will be skipping it in the long run. And the final game I was playing, another kind of party-ish game called RV There Yet. And what that is you and a bunch of friends start off at a campsite, and you have to get from point A to point Z, we'll call it. And you have an RV, and you've got to take the RV from point A to point Z. But as you go along, you're met with obstacles. One instance, a bear attacked us and knocked our RV off. There's like bridges and gaps you have to traverse. You've got winches that you've got to hook up to trees or winch posts. There's repairing the RV. You've got to cook food. One campsite I went to, I got bit by a snake and poisoned, so I had to find antidote. It's a fun little game in the realm of like if you've heard of Peak or forget what other games were like that. Damn. I'm drawing a blank, but it's you and your friends making a trip and solving problems collaboratively.
So
it's got
you're playing the Oregon Trail starring RV.
Basically, there was one part we drove by and rocks fell down a hill and smashed into the RV, doing damage. Yeah, it wasn't good. I took video. I'll have to share it with you guys, but like there was a ramp that we had to jump. So I stood off to the side and watched as my friends just geared the RV and took it over the ramp, and they made it across.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the other thing is when you're driving the RV, it's like a manual transmission. You have to switch the gears depending on what you're doing. So as you move the mouse, you go into reverse. Obviously, you can't see directly behind you, so you got to depend on your mirrors, your friends to stand by. I've never had to drive anything faster than second gear because the roads are very perilous. But it's a fun little game. It was like $5, so it's something else for us to play. It's just it's an adventure. And sometimes the best adventures are done with your friends.
So let me ask you this. So if you watch them hit the ramp and make it to the other side, how did you get to the other side?
Well, it wasn't that far of a gap, so I was able to go up to the bridge and just drop off to the part below me. It's just with the RV, you had to jump it. And when you jump something like that, you're hoping that it doesn't just get destroyed when it hits the other side. Yes. So yeah, definitely. I don't think it's on other. I don't think it's on the consoles, but definitely it was a fun little. Let's see how far we can get. And of course, the hilarity of you go to do something. My friend was guiding me across the bridge, and he's like, slow, and he's backing up, and suddenly he just disappears because he falls through a gap in the planks. I'm like, well. Yeah, so I was able to go down, revive him. You could drink beer to make yourself stronger. You can smoke to run faster. I don't know how that works. You get to put up like a portable barbecue where you can cook burgers to recover health. Use motor oil to fix your engine. We're just shoving stuff into the RV as we find it because, you have a limited amount of spaces and you're just hoping that it doesn't hit you on the way out. So, yeah, it was definitely a good, fun time. But that's what I've been doing with my 2 weeks since we last talked, Ricky.
Well, that's quite a bit. I have been playing, obviously, some Division 2. The end of the season, wrapping up. I've been mostly playing Lego Batman, The Legacy of the Dark Knight. I am almost done with it. I just gotta do one more section of the open world and then go back into the missions and get all those.
I've been seeing some stuff pop up on Facebook Reels, and there's like all kinds of like little nuggets here and there. Have you been finding those secret boss fights, just stuff like that?
Yes, there's a lot of references. There's also like there's a mission that you're investigating Waylon Jones.
Yeah, I saw that one.
But it's weird because Waylon Jones, if anybody doesn't know, is actually Killer Croc. But you're investigating and you're proving that he's innocent of crimes. So it's like some villains they turned good, some good guys they turned evil. It's weird. But a lot of people are having a hard time because you can scan the radio towers, which reveals everything on the map for you to go get. And some people are not seeing. Like, they go and they clear a certain section of the city, but, the map still says, oh, you're still missing this. Just keep doing the missions and clearing off the map because some things don't reveal themselves until you get a different collectible. So, you can go through a section, clear out that section of the map, and then go clear another section. All of a sudden, something else will pop up in the original section that you were in. So, just keep getting out the collectibles and other things will pop up. But I did enable a cheat in the game. Some of the puzzles you can just skip. You go up to it and you just hold down the button and you skip it. That is saving me so much time. Because a lot of the, like, you got to get some Wayne Tech caches. There's 200 of them in the game.
Holy.
I think there's 5 per level, so there's 15 levels. So that's how many? 85. So that leaves 115 in the open world. And most of them you can go up and you can just open. Other ones, they require you to solve a puzzle to figure it out. The problem with Lego games, like anybody's played the Lego games, sometimes you come up to like a Riddler puzzle or you come up to like one of the way, and there's no obvious way to figure it out. Like some of them like have a wire going to it and you're like, oh, okay, just got to follow the wire and then solve the problem over there and then it will eventually open this up. Yeah. Some of them, there's just no. So between the Ivy plants, the Wayne Tech caches, the 1, 2, 3 puzzles, the Riddler puzzles, I just go in now. I just skip it and it solves it and it doesn't disable the trophy. So that's what I'm doing. Because before every day I was doing I was only able to get half of a section done. Today alone, I got 2 whole sections done. So it speeds it up. So if you're having trouble, turn that on. Also, the towers don't reveal the Batman symbols you have to get. There's 50 in the game, but you have to get 25 for a trophy. Somebody said you could turn on like high contrast mode and they'll stand out. Don't even bother doing that. Just when you go search those things, just get a guide and go to a location. They're very easy to find. They just aren't very apparent when you're flying around the city. Don't worry about the wind tunnels because in the missions where you have to, traversal trial, you're gonna hit 10 wind tunnels. So don't even worry about that. That will come naturally. And then, like I said, I'm gonna finish that up. Then I'm gonna go finish up Assassin's Creed 3, and then hopefully around that time, I'll be all set to start playing Black Flag Remastered. I did pre-order a couple games. I don't remember what they are right now. Maybe I'll look it up while I'm talking. Well, I'm just trying to think of anything else I played. I don't think I've played anything else. I did pre-order Tomb Raider and Marvel Wolverine. Those 2 games I pre-ordered. So, that's it for me and what I've been playing. So at this time, Matt, I'm going to throw it over to you because we really don't have any topics. We just have a topic of the week. So do you want to?
Well, we've got, there's a ton of topics in our topic of the week. So what we're doing this week, folks, we're recording on a Sunday. There have been a massive amount of announcements over the past couple days for games coming up. So, E3 went away a couple years ago. Therefore, Jeff Keighley stepped in and is now running Summer Games Fest, which is basically the same thing. Yeah, shut up, Tricky.
He is such a bad host.
And yet he's the only thing we got right now giving us this sort of information.
That doesn't make him good.
Well, guess what? I'll give him a break because it allows us to see this. I'm sorry. Some of us don't get certain special treatment.
All right. Well, before we get into that, do you want to do listener questions or
yes,
do you want to?
That's what I was going to do. All right.
Okay. Hold on. I got to remember what button to press because I always forget every week now.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
All right. So the first question I'm going to go to, because Matt kind of touched on it already, comes from Thomas. 1666, did you like the demo?
No.
So, Matt, you're the only one who played it. You kind of touched on it already, but overall, did you like the demo?
No.
All right. Alex says, this was the first game show I felt like a waste of time. Now, I'm assuming he means
this
Game
was not
Fest.
me, Alex. This is another Alex.
Yes. I feel like he's talking about Summer's Game Fest, but he didn't clarify. I did ask him, did anything stand out to you? He did not respond. Now, Alex and Yield, I know for the majority, you don't watch the shows. You wait, and then you watch the highlights afterwards. Matt, I don't know exactly what shows you watched.
Well,
all of them.
Summer's Game Fest, not that I watched, but I did see that we're getting Wolf
Well, don't go into details. Let's save that for the actual topics.
Did you not want to know what I thought was the best one from there? Is that what you're asking me from the listener question?
Well, he just says he felt like the like I said, I think he means Summer Game Fest, but he said this was a waste of time.
Well, so I would say no, in the sense that I liked State of Play. I thought that it was up there with one of their better State of Plays. And with the information that came out from Summer's Game Fest and the Xbox show, I would say that this gave me E3 feelings. It wasn't just one of those post E3s where it's been like, okay, we've got a couple of games that are kind of okay. This week really sucked. This to me felt like an E3 with everything that dropped from all the shows. My opinion.
All right, Alex, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was, no, I mean, I want to say something after we get done with listener questions before we get into the topics of the week, but, no.
Okay. Matt, I don't know which shows you actually watched, so.
All of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll get into that as we talk about it. But before we do move on, I do want to go back and I added some additional things to the show notes just so you're aware. But talk about listener comments, because now I'm going back into our Spotify. And last week, Agalock97, you guys might have more input on this, but he said, have to disagree about critical thoughts towards character design decisions. Creative folks in the aughts all the way back to the 30s mostly strive to create beauty as part of the escapism in moving pictures. There's a reason they cast beautiful people in Hollywood. Haven't played First Light, so not sure on that, but uglification or average looks is an obvious aspect of many modern Western games. Not a big deal, but free country to take a few minutes to voice displeasure with the trend.
Yeah, I was going to get into that as part of it too, but thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, we kind of. I'm assuming you listened to the show, Matt, last week's show. Yeah, it came up that developers are starting to uglify certain characters, and it kind of got brought up with James Bond, which me and Yield, I don't want to speak for you, but we kind of like Bond has always been around beautiful women, like that's part of the thing, and some of the characters in 007 are exceptionally beautiful designed. So I don't know what else to say about that other than if a developer is making a character beautiful, or they're making them handsome, or they're making them ugly, stop complaining, because that's a developer's choice and there's a reason why they did that.
I just think it's a very weird thing to sit here and rate digital characters on attractiveness. Sorry, it's just always been a very weird thing to me. Like,
I know you still think it's weird. I find Jessica Rabbit sexy.
It's a little weird, tricky. And I know a lot of times these characters are built on real people, so there is that aspect of it. But I've never played a game where I was like, man, this character's not attractive enough. Like, that's not a thing that a core complaint I'm going to have. Like, if a character's unattractive, who cares? I'm still going to play the game. And I feel like yeah, with like one of my complaints with Saros is the characters models just don't look good. Outside of the cutscenes, they don't look good. But it's not like this character is unattractive. Like, that's a complaint for me. I just think it's a non-complaint. And it's just characters being unattractive. Like, not everyone in the world is beautiful. Like, I just think it's just a stupid argument. Sorry. Like, it's just ridiculous to me. But
all right. Matt, you weren't here last week, so I'll let you have the floor right now.
So I hear the arguments all the time. And basically, this boils down to developers wanting to have representation in games, meaning not everybody looks gorgeous. Not everybody does this. Not everybody does that. And the problem is there is a crowd of people who say you do that, you're pandering to the woke DEI crowd, yada, yada, yada. And what I think they fail to comment on is when you get a game like Stellar Blade or Bayonetta or, even God of War, and we'll talk about God of War Laufey later, but you get these uber attractive people into it, and that's a developer pandering to an audience. Like, it happens on both sides there. So I just say, let the developers develop the game that they want, however they want it, and it either works or it doesn't. That's my thought on it.
All right. Yield, do you want to make any comments about this?
No.
Okay.
I kind of I kind of agree with Al. I mean, I agree with Alex that complaining about how hot or not hot a video game character looks is a dumb argument. But I also agree with Tricky that Jessica Rabbit's hot. So
I want to say, I don't want to just completely shit on the commenter, because I think the commenter made a point that was just beyond. It was deeper than, oh, this character is not attractive, I'm not going to play the commenter, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name already, made a point that's something that has been deeply steeped in society, whether it be Hollywood or television or what, not like something like that. So the commenter made a good point, but I think that we all, despite the analysis of the situation, I think we all kind of just say like, well, if a character's in a game is ugly, it's not really a thing to really worry about all that much. So, I just want to make it clear, like, we're not trying to shit on the commenter.
No.
But I do think the commenter tries to take it to a deeper level. than just surface level. But I also think that we just don't agree that that's a real complaint that is. It's not something that's really a big worry when it comes to what, like, of all the things you can look at a game and complain about, it's not. It's like very, very minute thing to complain about.
All right. Thomas also has another question that says, will you go broke in September? We'll kind of touch on that when we start going through all the shows, because there seem to be a lot of games releasing in September, but only one game releasing in November. And then I put a question on here because this came from me playing Lego Batman. What are your thoughts on when a developer goes out of their comfort zone and makes a new game for them? Example, if Naughty Dog suddenly started making a first-person shooter game. Matt, I'll go to you first.
I think that's how we get some good games.
Okay. Alex?
I mean, you look at Insomniac, they did a first-person shooter for the PlayStation 3 called Resistance, and by the end of it, Resistance 3, that was a really good series. So, it can, given the right developer, given a talented team, it can breed something really good.
All right, Yield?
I am always okay with developers going outside of their norm and trying other things, because that's how you not only push your studio along, but it also pushes the industry along, because you could do something groundbreaking or do something unique that other teams will go, I need to put that, story element or combat element or whatever in, my game, or I need to take what they did and I want to expand upon it. So it's always good. I know it's always a risk, but if you've got a good pedigree of making games, it's a safe bet that it'll be okay. When you've got, let's say, a new studio and they've got this really killer game, and then their next game they're going something out of left field, you kind of do the wait and see type thing, because they just don't have the pedigree of going, they'll nail it. It'll be pretty good. So so for your example, for like Naughty Dog, most of us would be like, well, I want to see what they're going to do, but it'll probably be really good.
See, this stems from the fact that part of the side missions you have to do in Lego Batman is you have to drive a vehicle around. You have to do races, and the controls are not that great.
Well, Lego games traditionally always never, or the vehicles never traditionally
drove that well.
Drove very well, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not trying to shit on that. What I'm saying is, it's I've often said Alex is starting to play Darksiders again. You're playing a hack and slash, and then all of a sudden now you have this flight simulator version of the game that
what was that one game you and Donnie tried to platinum? That had
I don't remember.
Rails part that you guys hate.
I don't remember.
Anyway, that's what made me think of what you're saying.
So see, I agree with all you guys, but see, the reason my brain was working with this is in today's day and age, it takes so long to develop a game that if Naughty Dog, not necessarily Naughty Dog itself, because I think they have job security, so to speak. But if Naughty Dog was all of a sudden, spent 4 or 5 years making a first-person shooter and it bombed because that's not their wheelhouse, they're known for their third-person shooters, that could sink a studio.
Yes.
So that's where my process went. It's I went from, okay, I'm playing a Lego game, it's pretty good, but their driving's not that good. So then what happens when a studio decides to go from a third-person shooter to a first-person shooter, and they spend so long developing that game and then it bombs? It could tank a studio. That's what led me to my question, because I kind of feel like Matt says, when a studio goes out of their way, you can get something really awesome, but it's also a major risk in the fact of, what happens if we don't nail this? Is anybody going to look bad on Naughty Dog if they make a first-person shooter and, it bombs for whatever reason?
Well,
no.
Tricky. Any big project is potentially a bomb. Any potential project that has a lot of money behind it comes with risk.
Well, true, but But like, if Naughty Dog was to make another third-person shooter and it bombs, like let's say, was it Intergalactic, their new game? I know it's not Interstellar.
What?
Well,
Naughty
then, yeah,
Dog?
it's
Yeah, it's intergalactic.
You know, if that game comes out and it doesn't get the praise that Uncharted and The Last of Us is, we still know that it's going to be somewhat good because of the fact that they have the pedigree behind them. We know that Naughty Dog makes good third-person shooters. Maybe the story doesn't hit like The Last of Us Part 2 did, but nobody really shits on Naughty Dog. But if they go completely out of their wheelhouse and make something and it bombs, you're going to have some people going, well, why did they take this risk when they're so good at this? That's what led me to my question.
Because you don't want to make the same game all the time.
Which is also a good thing as well. All right. That was all of the questions, Matt. I am now going to throw it.
Can I say something first before we go to Matt and the?
You did want to say something. I apologize.
So this doesn't fit in really well any one place, but I do want to say this to anyone out there because we went to see it last Wednesday. If you have any trepidation when it comes to Masters of the Universe, it is very good. We enjoyed it a lot, so I would encourage anyone to go see it.
See, I heard many people say it's bad.
I don't know who those people are, but I enjoyed it.
I'll trust Alex over other people I don't know.
Well, also, one of the main things I hear, and again, I have not seen it, don't have an opinion about it, but I heard Jared Leto was a horrible Skeletor.
I mean, I didn't even know he was Skeletor. No, Skeletor's fine. But I will say, important thing to note, there are 3 after the credits scene. The second one is the most important, and the third one plays after the credits are completely done. So,
all right. At this point, we're going to throw it to our main topics.
Toe. Topic of the week. Well, fine then. Fuck you, Matt.
So I have to start this off. Alex, my friend who now listens to the show, comments on the fact of the way you're pronouncing toe and then going into topic of the week. I had to explain him that you're saying TOW, toe, topic of the week, which I don't know how that fits because it's TOTW.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways.
I figured that out after I said it, but in the moment I was so, jazzed to say fuck you, Matt, that I clearly just lost all, the's not capitalized, so whatever. I wasn't worried.
You know what? Oh. And you should be excited to say fuck you, Matt. Everybody should be excited to say fuck you, Matt, because I'm good with that.
But you're a good guy, Matt, so nobody wants to say fuck you, do you?
A lot of people want to say fuck you to me. All right. So, as I said at the beginning, there are a literal metric shit ton of game announcements this week, and we're kind of going to go through these. We will end this, since this is evidently a PlayStation show. We'll end with Sony's State of Play. So we're going to start with the one that occurred actually today, was the Xbox Game Showcase. And I have here in the article, coming directly from Xbox Wire, basically, here's all the games that were announced or talked about during the show today. With the big announcement being Gears of War E-Day, previously announced as coming to PlayStation, is now going to be a console exclusive. So that means it'll be on the Xbox console and PC. Big fuck you, Sony. That's all I'm saying to that.
Good for them.
Was it ever actually confirmed for PS5?
It was announced that it was going to come to PS5. Yes, during the first trailer, I think I remember that they had a PS5 logo on there.
Okay.
I do remember talking to the guys about it when we were some of us were picking up Reloaded, that somebody said that we were going to get E-Day.
Then
okay, I'm sorry.
Then there was also the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 trailer, the Halo campaign evolved, which gave us some more history into that coming out. Metro 2033, Fable, Minecraft Dungeons 2, the new Hellblade game just called Senua this time, Wolong 2, State of Decay 3, which has been in development for some time, so interesting. I think this is the one you were talking about, Yield Resonance. I think that was that the prequel to A Plague's Tale.
Yes.
Okay. Clockwork something or other. I can't read that. The new one I'm actually excited about, Spyro.
There you go.
A new Spyro, folks. And unfortunately, fuck you, Alex, for not getting a new Sly Cooper before a new Spyro. That's what they were saying.
That's so wrong.
Did you notice when they popped up the final like screen where it said PC Xbox, there was a PlayStation 5 icon there. So apparently it is that despite E-Day not coming to PS5, Spyro is still coming to PS5.
Well,
Correct.
They announced a bunch of games are still coming to PS5.
Yes. E-Day and Clockwork are the only ones that they said are console exclusive at this time. DLC is coming to Doom: The Dark Ages. There's a Persona 4 remaster coming out. Castlevania Belmont's Curse, which we knew was in development. Where Winds Meet. You got a literal logo reveal for Persona 6. Flight Simulator 2024 is getting some more information. This is crazy, literally. Crazy Taxi World Tour. Who knew? Crazy Taxi was coming back, folks. You remember Crazy Taxi? It's back.
I remember it, but I never played it.
It's back in POG form.
Yes!
A new Sea of Thieves expansion. I will say this about this game. Skull and Bones, what? Elder Scrolls Online is getting the Thieves Guild back. There's a new expansion for Fallout 76. Valor Mortis is a new game coming out. Age of Empires 4, a new DLC, and a bunch of other odds and ends. But how do you guys feel about this overall showcase? Yield, we'll touch base with you first.
I mean, not being an Xbox guy, there are two exclusives for them, and like I said, when you said that E-Day was a console exclusive, good for them. I'm okay with games now switching, stables, but you still need a core of exclusives to make people, want to stay with that brand. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. The games that were announced, I'm super excited for another Spyro game. So, I don't think it was bad. There's a lot of stuff that's really not in my wheelhouse, but that's okay. It's Xbox.
I will say this about the Gears of War thing. Good on Xbox for taking a much needed change, I believe. Especially with that in the last years where they came out and said, we might start expanding to other consoles. But personally, this does hurt me because I was going to play with my friend. My buddy Eric and I have played every major Gears of War release together. And unfortunately, he doesn't have an Xbox anymore. And he doesn't PC game.
Tell him that the 25th anniversary one does look pretty sexy. He could get that one.
There also was an announcement. There is a new Xbox Series X 25 limited edition. Both console and the controller are coming out. So if you're willing to sell a kidney, the way console prices are going these days, maybe you can get one too.
Yeah, but they're going to be sold out in like 10 minutes.
Of course they are.
Well, yeah.
Alex, how did you feel about Xbox's presentation?
Overall, I thought it was I didn't watch it, but just by the games listed off there, good number of announcements, good number of interesting announcements, first party, third party. That's always a good way to mix up your shows because you need the third party support, but you also have to have the heavy hitters from first party to really bring people to your console. I don't know how many people are excited to buy an Xbox Series X these days, but I think that coming from Microsoft and months ago where people were questioning what is the future of this games division, I think it was a really good showing. I think there's a lot there to be excited about, and I think it shows that with the change of leadership, not saying it was good or bad, but it seems like there is a little bit more excitement around the brand right now than there was toward the end of the 10 years of Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer. So it seems like Asher Sharma has at least got some positive momentum for Xbox as of right now.
The other thing that came out of this was previously announced was the move of Fable to February 23rd, 2027 to avoid the big game of November. That's right, Barbie's Horse Ranch. And importantly, this kind of came up earlier when you were talking about the uglification of characters. Well, they're bringing some beauty to the characters because Haley Atwell, who most of you are probably aware of, that one episode from Black Mirror, but maybe a smaller role as Agent Carter from the Captain America movies.
Smaller role.
is now playing character Isabel.
She had her own TV show as well, just so you know.
Nobody acknowledges that exists. So yeah, interesting, the move, the change of character. I don't know much about how Isabel's going to play into the whole thing, but definitely bringing some pedigree with her. Definitely not an ugly character. So, Tricky, we'll go to you about your thoughts on the Xbox presentation here.
As far as E-Day, I think it's a good move by Microsoft. I mean, it sucks that, it's not going to come to the PS5. Although I will say, I think it's going to come to the PS5. I think it's just going to be on the delay, probably a year before we get it. Because I can't see Microsoft spending so much money starting to develop it and then just throwing that money away. So I think that it's still going to come to the PS5. I think we're not going to get it for a year until after the Xbox does.
They did say not a timed exclusive, but you're thinking they'll bring it at some point. They don't have a pre-existing agreement to say it's on here for this long.
Right. I can't see them just throwing away that money that they've developed for it, because this E-Day's been in development for what, a couple years now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see them throwing away all that development money and just saying, okay, it's not going to come. I could be 100% wrong. But the fact that it's coming out as a console exclusive initially, in my opinion, I think is a good move. I think there was a lot of Xbox people starting to say, like, why do we even buy your console? There's no more exclusives. Halo went over there. Gears of War went over there. Sea of Thieves went over there. They've already announced a couple games, like even like the new Senua is announced to be going over there. Where the Senua, like in this article, it's calling it, how did they phrase it? Hold on. Let me go back to it. They called it the acclaimed game into a new God of War competitor, but that's also coming to the PS5 as well. I don't know. Like, Senua looks pretty good. It seems like they're gonna make more of a game that's more combat driven than the previous Hellblade games. So overall, I thought Microsoft had a good showing. Crazy Taxi coming back is just fucking nuts. Spyro, I'm happy that it's coming. I don't have any interest in Spyro. I tried to play the remastered versions and never really could get into them. I'm not saying they're bad.
I will say though, if especially you hating first persons, some of those camera angles do mess with you, so I can understand that. I'm just picking on you.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good show. I think Microsoft came out and did what they had to do. I would have liked to seen them announce more exclusives. Because, as much as I shit on Xbox, and I've said this many times on the show, like, whatever you want to play on, go play on. But I do believe Xbox needs to be strong to give Sony a reason to keep up their dominance. Because if Sony just gets a free pass and like, okay, well, we don't have to go out of our way to make this game spectacular because everything Xbox is making, we're going to get anyway, the quality is going to go down. Like, so I think competition breeds excellence. So I would have liked to see more exclusives announced by Xbox, but I think they did a good show.
Was there anything announced from Double Fine?
I don't believe so.
I think so.
I mean, that is, I would like to, because it's been what? It was 2022 that Psychonauts 2 was released, so I don't know that they've done anything since then. So I'm kind of.
I don't think they have.
I've been expecting something from them, but I mean, hopefully we don't just everything goes silent from them, because I would like to see another Double Fine game come out.
Double Fine's most recent release, Kiln. Yeah. 4v4 pottery party brawler. Well, they're used to giving weird games. All right. So yeah, that was Xbox. I personally am excited for E-Day. I'm personally excited for the Doom Dark Ages DLC, and maybe even some Crazy Taxi, you know, as long as they can get Offspring back in there.
Psychonauts was 2021, by the way, Alex.
2021, really? I thought it was 2022. Okay.
August 25th, 2021.
It's even further. And it's even further.
Then, sorry, like to finish my thought. Thanks.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And then probably some Spyro, and then that'll probably be it for me as far as the Xbox stuff.
Yeah, credit to them for making another Hellblade, or allowing Ninja Theory to make another Hellblade, because I don't think that game was super successful when it comes to the financial side. I feel like it launched like at a, you know, it wasn't like a big hit when it launched, so I don't think its success was perceived to be that well.
It was more than Redfall.
Well, damn, why don't you set the bar that low?
You could sell 10 games and you're better than Redfall.
But no, I mean, like, with the fact that you got a new Spyro, the fact that, you know, Hellblade's coming back, and it seems, you know, I mean, in relatively, I don't want to say too quickly after, but, you know, we're getting another Hellblade game here, and it feels like it's only been a few years. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of positives to take away from Microsoft showing.
Alrighty. So, moving on. We're moving directly to Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest announcement, which took place over this Saturday. And with
we get to say to play.
You know, Tricky, you could just see the door right out. Go.
This guy's so bad. I don't know why he gets so much credit.
Because he's using his money to A, make money, but B, give us something that was not in existence anymore, because E3 is run by a bunch of fucking morons. All right. So first up, something that makes Daryl and I very, very happy. Finally announced, long anticipated, not even Code Veronica, Resident Evil Veronica, the remake. Capcom announced a Code Veronica remake coming in 2027. The Mighty Cuphead Adventure, which is a spinoff, and a new sequel to Cuphead. So for those of you who still have intact controllers, you'll be playing that and hopefully not breaking the new ones. Especially with how much controllers cost these days. Alien Isolation 2 got announced to be in development. A new sci-fi mech game called Gen Atlas from the creator of Shadow of the Colossus. So, you know, I may give that the time of day.
I may have to look at that trailer.
RuneScape Dragon Wilds, Blood Message, something I know Joe Priestley and I are going to be very interested in. TMNT, The Last Ronin, Platinum Games takes over the development. And I think Amy Hennig is in charge there.
She actually going to get a game made?
I think so.
Oh wow!
She's now in charge of Paramount Games Studio.
The snippet that I saw of it. I mean, granted, it was a small one, but I was like, oh, I remember hearing about this game. Awesome. So
that's all that it was. It was literally just a snippet.
Yeah, and I think that expect that to be a more brutal Teenage Mutant Turtles game, whereas, you know, a lot of them, like Splintered Fates, you know, Shredder's
It's not going to be
Revenge.
family friendly.
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge, like they tend to be more cartoony, but this one, like, given the story, I think that Platinum Games, given their history, is a good developer for a game that should have some emotional weight and some brutality behind it.
I have it from a good source that the combat in this game is going to be very similar to the modern age God of War games.
And rumor has it, I don't think they ever confirmed this, but rumor has it is The Last Ronin is actually Michelangelo.
Why you gotta spoil it for people?
Why spoil it? I kind of knew that too.
Because it's the rumor. It's not confirmed.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense from the trailer. You saw Raph's scythe. I think you saw.
Well, that's
Leonardo's.
The thing. He carries all of the weapons.
Well, yeah, he carries them all, but you saw the scythe like dropped in water. I think you saw the katana somewhere else. You did. I don't remember seeing Donatello's bow, So I'm like, that's probably Michelangelo.
Well, again, rumor, not confirmed. Another game, Stranger Than Heaven, a multiplayer.
Okay, you're going into that. Okay, good.
Yeah, a multiplayer shooter called Hax, Haex. I saw this when I tuned in. I was not impressed. One thing that has me intrigued: Gundam Rogue Orbit. V and I were sitting there watching this, and they didn't come out and say it right away. But I'm looking at it. I'm like, why does it have like Gundam feel? And then I saw the Gundam on the screen. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Crossfire. Former Naughty Dog devs develop a third-person shooter.
Crossfire.
You stole my thunder. Yes. I immediately sent a message out to everybody. I was like, did they not know about the multiplayer called Crossfire that failed horribly? Could they call the game anything else?
I enjoyed it.
You said this was made by former Naughty Dog guys? I thought it was former Call of Duty.
It says former Naughty Dog devs.
Oh, the IGN article says former Call of Duty.
Yeah, well, the AI overview says former Naughty Dog. Control Resonant, which is now announced to be coming out September 24th this year.
Matt's relying on AI. Ooh.
Guild Wars 3,
Hold on.
which...
They've pretty much confirmed that Jessie has disappeared, so I guess Jessie will not be the main character of the protagonist of that game.
So no, she's not the protagonist, but she does. I thought I saw her in the trailer, but it's evidently been a number of years since Jessie had taken over as director, and now the oldest house, all their stuff is spilled out into the streets of the city. So now we got to clean that mess up.
That's good. Yeah, it's what it's going to look like if the New York Knicks win the NBA championship here in a couple days. Well, not in a couple days, like a week or so.
I told my brother-in-law that they have to win before Game 6 because I really don't want to deal with a finals game and a FIFA game on the same day. Let's see. Guild Wars 3 was announced, and this was, the developer had made an announcement a couple days ago, like, be prepared. And then sure enough, Guild Wars 3. So that should see a modicum of success. Correct me if I'm wrong. Star Wars Galactic Racer. This is just Star Wars Burnout, right?
Basically,
or Star Wars pod racing.
And now this is pod racing. So October 6th. Cool. End of Abyss, an isometric horror shooter coming out October 1st. Last Harbor was just revealed. Virtua Fighter Crossroads. It seems like Virtua Fighter took a page from Street Fighter with like kind of like low level fighters now getting involved in the tournament. The 1666 Amsterdam, which I gave impressions earlier. Saw Genesis, a 3v1 horror game from Bloober Team. Is it me or? Go ahead, Yo.
I was gonna say is so. I take it the one is Saul and the other three are trying to survive.
I guess I said my problem was Saw games don't inherently work. Torture games don't inherently work because you're not actually getting hurt by it. Like there's no incentive for you to not do something.
Right.
Well, the problem is that also that Jigsaw is not an imposing force like, say, they made a Killer Clowns game like this, didn't they? In that style. Yes,
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
And obviously there was the Friday the 13th game with Jason. Jigsaw is all about, taking advantage of people when they're down or when they're vulnerable and putting them into traps. He's not an in fact, the very first version of Jigsaw, or like Jigsaw is sick. He's a sickly old man, so I don't know how a 1 versus 3 is going to work.
Unless the one is setting up the traps. I don't. Star Wars Zero Company got a trailer with a announcement of Anakin Skywalker being in the game. Blood of Dawnwalker. What was that, Tricky?
I said, who cares? I was interested in this until I saw it was XCOM style. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, well, it's a tactics game.
And it's the same thing. Like I was talking with Garrett during this, like even when the Saw game was like, we both said we were very interested in this until we found out it was 3 versus 1.
Among Us story on guard. So there's a cartoon coming out featuring Among Us with some pretty big names. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but definitely some big names associated with the voice acting in the game, in the show. My personal pick, Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance got announced. The expansion to Monster Hunter Wilds coming in 2027. Hot Wheels Infinite Rush. Actually, it looks kind of cool for a Hot Wheels based game.
I mean, the first game was based very much in the home. The second one kind of lets you go outdoors in like the backyard. And this game is very much all around the city. And I guess what I need for them to show me with this game, because I did play Hot Wheels Unleashed and I did enjoy it, but the second game seems so unnecessary. It just, I never, we got it free for PlayStation Plus, I believe, on Essential, and I never even played it. And I need to understand why, after playing the first game and getting the Platinum Trophy, why I need to play this game again. Because simply rolling around the city just isn't enough on new tracks. They got to do something more. So,
but it's open world, Alex.
Coming from the man who still has never played Hot Wheels Unleashed after his wife bought it for him for Christmas.
Alrighty. Another game called Clutch. They released a story trailer. Pal World announced their 1.0 release date for July 10th, 2026. Yield, you and I are super excited. The Wolf Among Us 2.
Been sued? How has Pal World not been sued into oblivion by now?
Because it's not Pokemon. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Anyway, the better news.
Oh my
Wolf
God.
Among Us 2. Hell yeah.
It has been so many, and Jeff Keighley said it, 8 years since initially talked about.
It's
So,
been that long?
It's since, yeah.
Wow.
It's insane. For how much you and I love the first one, it's like, it's so good. So much there that you could do across the entire universe based off of
I guess I'm
Fables.
chop liver. I didn't enjoy
I'm sorry, Alex. I thought you. I don't remember you talking about it.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Got the platinum. Even
okay.
Ashley is looking forward to it. She says we're gonna have to decide who gets to play it first because she's really looking forward to it. So
and we get the remastered before that.
Yes,
So-
You know how you sent this pre-show, and I waited until the show. How are you excited about a remaster for this? Because you hate remasters.
Because it's been over 8 years, and I told you, The Wolf Among Us is in my top 2 favorite Telltale games. So that would be why. It's like the same reason why I bought Burnout Remastered, and it wasn't that, well, it was a while ago, but because games I really, really like, I have no problem with.
So, it was funny, as in the midst of my move, I set up my Xbox 360 in the basement for the gaming station. And sure enough, I still have Wolf Among Us installed on that system. It's crazy. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. V is excited because she loves sitting down watching me play it. She wasn't going to play it herself, but definitely looking forward to that one. This one was funny because we're watching it, and it's showing a female protagonist, a particularly attractive female protagonist, going back to our earlier conversation. And they had some very unique shots. And I forgot what game V had said it was, but I looked at it and I go, no, this almost looks like Stellar Blade. And then they come out, Stellar Blade Blood Rain, sequel to Stellar Blade. Oh dear, yes. But the big announcement of the show, not a high guard level type of announcement. Jeff Keighley saved what might be the best for last. Final Fantasy VII Revelation, releasing in 2027, the third game in the Final Fantasy VII Remake series, with the big announcement of Matt Mercer being the voice of Vincent Valentine. So those are all the big hits for the Summer Games Fest. I throwing out my thoughts there. I think that was a fantastic show with lots of games for things for everybody. But Yield, what do you feel?
I agree. There was stuff for everybody. Not one genre overpowered the other. And again, it's a couple things that I'm excited for. Wolf Among Us 2. So, yeah. Didn't they also announce during the Games Fest that Saber Interactive is doing the first 3 Hitman games, remastering them?
Yes, I think, let's see, Hitman Trilogy Remastered.
I know it was announced this weekend.
Saber Interactive announces Hitman Classic Trilogy Remastered.
So if you're a Hitman fan, there you go.
Alex?
No, I think that I'm surprised that one of our comments or one from our social corner Someone said that they felt like this was a waste of time because I feel like everything we've heard so far from the Xbox Showcase to the Summer Games Fest has all been pretty good. It's been a good mix of stuff and stuff to get excited about. So, yeah.
And Tricky.
Take away your personal fact that you don't like the host.
Good announcements, bad host.
It's funny. That's what they say about Trophy Horse. All right.
You know, you're a host on the show, so
I am very self-deprecating and understand my place in this world. Thank you.
Listen. Some of these things, you know, I was disappointed with like some of the announcements, like the Saw Genesis being 3 versus 1. I was interested in playing a Saw game, a legit Saw game. But I mean, you also brought up a good point. It's like if there's no real penalty, then there's no real reason to like feel the tension and trying to get out of a trap. So I get that as well. Like good announcements. One surprising I don't think you touched on, but I was in and out. Street Fighter announced their first celebrity character.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, so Street Fighter had a couple of different characters coming in, but Tifa being introduced to the fighting cast, which just makes sense.
You think it makes sense for her to be in Street Fighter?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You mean
I never
from Final Fantasy?
Tifa
Final
from
Fantasy
Final
7,
Fantasy.
yes.
Well, clearly it's done because they, announced
She kicks high.
the new Final Fantasy 7.
I got that reference.
Well, yeah, but they like Final Fantasy 7. Hey, this is coming, and now put it over in Street Fighter. Oh.
Yeah, but this is the first time Street Fighter has done a celebrity character.
We say celebrity quotes.
You know what I'm saying? It's the first one where we're getting a character from an outside
Cross
property.
There you go.
Yeah. So
the Gundam game. I saw the trailer, and I have always wanted to play a mech game. I never zoned of Enders the way that I should. I really enjoyed Titanfall 2. I felt like I was the guy controlling the mech. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. So hopefully maybe I could actually live out my Gundam dream, because I did like the cartoon, what I got to see of it on Toonami, so always wanted to be that person. So, yeah.
They always struggled with making the Gundams feel fluid and fast in the games, and I think this, from what I saw in the trailer, it looks like they've got that. So I'm excited. All right. Now,
hold on, before you do that, I want to do a little tease. So the boys know a text message that I sent out that we cannot talk about on the show. Everybody knows what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went there. Matt, your first question about Noir. It is coming. Yield, your question about the run. They had no answer.
Yeah. Well, it was worth a shot.
Okay, let's not go any more into it because people will figure it out.
Yes.
All right. So moving on to the creme de la creme. I use that with air quotes. Sony State of Play had their announcement, and I think we're gonna talk ad nauseum about the final topic here. But a couple notable games that were announced, as well as the dates coming out. Personally, Ace Combat 8: Wings of Thief is my highlight right now, even over Wolverine. The show opened.
That did look interesting.
Ace Combat is a fantastic series. If you like fighter jets and you like being able to shoot like 20 million missiles, please go check out Ace Combat. The music is also awesome. The story is weird, but the music is always awesome. The show did start out with 20 minutes of gameplay of Wolverine from Insomniac. And one of the things that was brought up was like, hey folks, we never said this was going to be an open world sandbox game. Because what they showed was a very linear, kind of like almost like a stealth based mission. But Wolverine goes out there. He's trying to find a bunch of mutants, and it was awesome because based off of the design, you could see that Newt was one of the mutants that he was trying to save.
Did anyone else have an issue with the voice of Wolverine?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just in my
it
head
was a
I'm
little
like
off.
I want something closer to the cartoon, and it kind of threw me off.
I only had one issue. Now I'll let Matt finish, but I actually had two issues with the gameplay, but I'll get into that in a second.
So Liam McIntyre being the voice of Wolverine, was it my favorite? No. Would I like it if the original voice actor from the cartoon came back and did it? Yes. We can't have the nice things. So we got this. That being said, the combat was brutal, visceral, insane. Logan's suit self-cleans, which I thought was weird and interesting.
That was super weird.
He was bathed in blood, and then like he would run.
The very next scene. That was my first issue. The second issue I'll get into right now. Obviously, he takes a lot of damage and he self-heals. His suit also self-heals because there was literally a bone showing out of his back, and then all of a sudden, you see it healing, and then the suit heals back over it.
Well, what about the shotgun that he took? His back is like one giant hole, but there's nothing in the front.
Right.
Well, a shotgun doesn't necessarily have to penetrate. However, Tricky, there is a point if you watch the video, there are points where his suit doesn't repair. So it is off-putting. I think they had to do that in certain respects because you don't want them just shooting him naked. Like that would be weird.
Awkward.
No, but I mean, if they did enough damage that his little spine is showing out of his back, like obviously the suit has been penetrated. Like the suit should still be ripped or something, not like fully healed back to normal.
I wouldn't mind his torso part of the suit being completely shredded away. But
I mean, even in the Arkham games, like Batman's cape, like it starts out pristine, but throughout the game, there's rips in the cape throughout the game, and they stay there. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm not going to delve too much into it.
The combat, like Matt said, it was bloody, it was brutal. I particularly liked the part where he kicked a guy off a building, and I was like, oh man, that guy's dead. And instead of just letting him fall, he jumped into the air, stabbed him with sets of claws, and drove him down. That was,
I cheered out loud when I saw that. I was like, holy shit, that's nice.
The fun part is it's not just Logan going out there. You also had God damn it! I knew
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. Thank you. Why the fuck did I forget that? She came in as part of the assistance and was slinging things and guys around all over. So it was definitely, I'm going to buy the game. It looks amazing.
Double team moves, whether it was just cinematic or actual double team moves, that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So Yield, I have to ask: are you interested in buying this now? Same thing for Alex.
Not 100%, because it didn't and it's gonna sound really stupid. Like I enjoyed what I saw, but I don't know. Like the whole being covered in blood, which I did see that you could turn that off. I wouldn't do that. But,
why would you?
but the fact that 3 seconds later he's completely clean. It kind of, I don't know, it's weird. It put me off. And so, I'm waiting to see more, but I'm not absolutely not. I'm just not 100% day one sold yet.
I mean, here's the thing. It happened to Deadpool. Back in the Deadpool game, his suit got torn and then repaired itself. So I'm not going to sit here and nitpick.
Yeah, I can get past the blood thing. It was a weird when I first saw it, and then I paid attention to it. I can get over that. The voice thing I can get over, although again, being used to the voice in the cartoon, being used to Hugh Jackman in the movies, it'll be something I'm going to have to get used to, but I can get over it. I did enjoy some of the character cameos that we saw. Not just Jean Grey, but also Deadpool was in there. Sabretooth, Omega Red. So I love.
I don't remember Deadpool being in there.
I don't remember Deadpool in there.
Yeah, I didn't see Deadpool. Where was he?
Pretty sure I saw Deadpool in the 7-minute thing that I saw on PlayStation.
All right, we'll have to look at that.
I didn't see Deadpool, but I'll take. But are you going to buy this, Alex?
I'm a lot closer than I was. I'll say that. I mean, it looks fun, so probably. I'm more likely to buy this than Spider-Man. I'll say that.
Alrighty, next up, the sequel / prequel to Dave the Diver, Bancho the Chef. Takes you through Bancho's upbringing as a sushi chef. Alex, you and I gonna do some sushi chefing?
Hold on, what was that again? I was trying to look for Deadpool.
Bancho the Chef, prequel to Dave the Diver.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, man. I like the cooking aspect of that. I did enjoy that. It was something very different from the actual fishing part of it, but an entire game built around that. Or is he going to be like diving down to get stuff?
Well, no, it's the sushi creation is going to be a lot more involved.
It's his journey to be the top sushi chef in the world.
I will need to see it, how the gameplay goes, because I liked the surface level aspect they had in Dave the Diver, so I don't know what intricacy like they will add. That, I mean, it might make it more stressful in like an Overcooked kind of way, but I mean, because I love Dave the Diver, I will at least pay attention to when that more information comes out.
As we talked about earlier, but it was first done at Sony's State of Play, was the Control Resonant story trailer. Again, saying the announcement on September 24th is its release. Then there was Dune Awakening, the console announcement story trailer. I just can't get into Dune. I tried. I'm not going to be doing that.
I'm not a Dune fan, but something about this game is making me want to play it.
I need to see more. Like what I saw was just kind of like, okay, this could be cool. Does that make any sense? Because I was just kind of like, eh.
It does. I can't get into the Dune universe.
And I've never seen any of the Dunes, so maybe that's some other reason.
Alrighty. Skipping that one, we'll come back to that last.
Pause
Dynasty.
1 second. I just asked Jeff Hanna, is he hyped for the Dave the Diver prequel? He said no, but the upcoming Dave the Diver sequel has me interested. Typical Jeff Hanna.
Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered. It's Dynasty Warriors. I think the show had taken a significant turn when it goes, hey, runners, Marathon Season 2 is live.
As I said in a text group, well, it wasn't this text group, but as I said in my friend's text group, well, it was this text group, that once we mentioned Marathon, in my humble opinion, the show went into the crapper.
I mean, look, they kind of have
stopped
to,
caring.
With how much they spend on Bungie and how much they have, riding on Bungie's a studio, you gotta at least support. Yeah, they had to mention it at some point. You can't just let it fucking die.
Yeah, maybe do it at the beginning of the show.
Also, I sent you guys a link to a video that I watched of Wolverine where it shows Deadpool at 7 minutes and 14 seconds.
I'm looking right now.
Also, I think Mystique was in there as well.
Yes, she was.
Let's see, Deadpool at 7:14. Right near the end. Jeez. Oh yeah, most replayed.
Yes, it was.
There's Omega Red, Mystique.
Yep, I saw him.
Sentinels.
Oh, no, that's not Deadpool.
That's not Deadpool?
No.
Who is that?
Who is that then?
Well, stand by. Look at that. Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you look at it closely, it's not Deadpool. It is, I'm assuming, one of the hand assassins. Yeah, because if you pause on it, he doesn't have his there's no mask over his eyes. Yeah, that's not Deadpool. Alrighty.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Also announced is the Knights of Doom coming to Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, showing Doctor Doom, Magneto, Green Goblin, and Carnage as a playable team. Talked about Wolverine. I'm excited. A action horror in the vein of Resident Evil. Very brutal, very gruesome and gory. I'm interested to see where it goes. Let's see what else. What's her name? Announced a game, Kimuri, which is a multiplayer game where you're hunting demons. You remember that woman who kind of started the work on Ghostwire Tokyo, and everybody loved her, and Keanu Reeves at the same E3 performance. Anyway, she's been working on that game. No Rest for the Wicked, a 1.0 announcement. Onimusha, Way of the Sword.
That trailer does look interesting. The No Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah,
to like co-op.
It's been a game in early access for a while on the PC. We've been enjoying it, at least from what I've seen. So it's coming 1.0 October to the PS5. Onimusha, Way of the Sword, with a demo out today. That day, whatever day they announced it. 30 minutes of the early story. Again, another game coming September 2026. So I'm on board for Onimusha. Phantom Blade Zero special teaser trailer announcement. Also, this excited me. Rayman Legends Retold.
Now,
new Rayman game.
Is this the same Rayman that we've gotten free for Plus, or is this since it's being retold, is it a remaster or is it something totally different?
It's a brand new game.
Yeah, brand new game, 3D reimagining of the iconic multiplayer platformer. So it's
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I enjoyed the Rayman Legends that I played. I'd definitely be picking that up.
Silent Hill Townfall, which the release date, September 24. Stuntman Hollywood. And this one had a trailer of, number one, I'm happy Stuntman is coming back. Number two, it's actually cool that we're getting some like movies that we actually know about, because they showed the DeLorean, movies. They showed Kit. They had a couple other things. So yeah, I'm all on board for that.
Miami Vice, and then Nitro told me Jurassic Park's also in it. They just couldn't show it in the trailer.
Let's hope the tutorial isn't so difficult this time around.
Yeah, it was a tough tutorial. I said it just played better than Driver.
But as a fan of the Stuntman series, I am so glad to be able to earn trophies and get a platinum in a Stuntman game.
Alrighty, next one, The Lost Wild, which we all thought was a Jurassic Park thing, but it's it is, yeah, but it's not. It's basically Jurassic Park without it being called Jurassic Park. Basically, you are stuck in the wilderness and you have to find your way out for big dinosaur. It actually reminded me of the one scene from Jurassic Park 3 with the mist and the pteranodons. Just seeing it come through the mist, that how big they are. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis release date trailer, which, it's retelling of the first Tomb Raider. I forgot if it got announced here at a different one, but we are getting a Godzilla King of the Monsters Melee remaster.
Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Destroy All Monsters, yes. So I'm happy with that.
That could be fun.
And then the show ended with an extended gameplay reveal trailer of God of War Laufey.
Did you
hold on? What about Until Dawn 2?
Yeah, did you mention that?
Oh yes. Well, it's not mentioned here in the state of play, so
it's mentioned on the blog.
Let's see.
But yes,
on your link,
Until Dawn 2 not being made by Supermassive, but it's like set in an island, and it's ghost hunters, and they're
right there
doing what ghost hunters do. Good.
All I have to. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, good setting, good premise behind everything, because obviously, looking for the paranormal, the kind of the need to prove things are there, and then you start seeing people start to get killed. They also made the they said in the trailer, everyone can live and everyone can die. So just like in Until Dawn, you can do both those things, which means we'll probably get trophies for those things. But I thought it was interesting that they pointed that out, that everyone can die, everyone can live. But also, again, just a great setup, a great scenario for an Until Dawn, which is very different from the scenario that we had in the first game.
And I know exactly what comment Yield's about to make. Go ahead, Yield.
I agree everything with what Alex said, but what I was most impressed with about the trophy was someone wasn't running through the trailer with a towel that never fell off.
That's exactly what I like about the show is they showed the guy hitting the rock. That looked brutal.
Oh, when they jumped off, or they gave you the option push, don't push, and then he hit the rock.
Well,
yeah.
Obviously,
I said don't push him.
That option's there. Don't push him.
I
All right.
obviously did not play the PS5 version of Until Dawn because I already know what happens. I played through the story and I just wasn't going to play through it again for trophies. But now I like that style of game and it's a brand new scenario, brand new characters, brand new story. So I'm all in on this.
All
right.
And finally, again, we talked about this extended gameplay trailer, God of War Laufey, which half the internet absolutely fell in love with and half the internet hated because it's not Kratos. So in this game, you are going to be playing as Kratos' deceased wife in the afterlife of the gods. She starts kicking ass like immediately. So
yes, she does.
Amazing. And again, actress is modeled after Deborah Ann Wool. Now, tricky. This is not obviously she didn't play Laufey in or Faye in Ragnarok, right?
She did.
No, she did.
She did? Oh, okay.
She's been Faye ever since. And I think that the timeline wise, obviously this matches up to run parallel to the 2018 game.
Well, see, that is a point of contention because spoilers for I think it's the first God of War. It has to be the first God of War. You guys all watched the trailer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in the trailer, there's a scene where Kratos comes into the trailer and then he disappears. A lot of people are speculating that that is the exact point in the first God of War in which Kratos goes into the light and disappears for a long time. I mean, for him, he was gone 5 minutes. For Atreus, he was gone for like hours. They're saying that's why they're speculating that it's running concurrent at the same time, that she's trying to fight her way out at the same time that they're on their way to do their mission in the first God of War. So, a lot of people are hating on this because they don't want to play as Faye. I've seen people calling this God of War laundry because they're idiots.
Somebody went out there and made like a quote unquote DLC video of God of War. And it's basically, it's Faye giving birth, doing dishes, doing like people are just insane when it comes to this. Look, I, who am not a huge fan of the God of War series, but enjoy for what it represents. Again, it's you got a bunch of incels out there being like, oh, she doesn't give me a raging hard on. This is a 1 out of 10. I actually had people seen online being like, oh, look at her. I'm like, dude, it's Deborah Ann Wool. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Also, she's getting beat up in fights. Like, she's going to look a little bit,
rough,
raggedy, and put through the ringer. And so, yeah, I mean, I personally, did people want to play as, oh God, what's the kid's name?
Atreus.
Did people want to play as Atreus? Like, I would much rather play as Faye than Atreus. Like, Atreus as a sidekick in that story of bonding with Kratos all makes sense. That's very intriguing. Playing as Atreus on his own, like, oh my God, no thank you.
When I had to do that in Ragnarok, I was turned off. Playing as Atreus in Ragnarok was my least favorite part of that game in total.
No, but
people got out.
Well, that's why we don't care what people who live with their parents and are constantly single. We don't care what those people think. They have things like this where they see a woman protagonist and they're like, let's make DLC videos about doing laundry and cooking. Oh, we're so fun. No, you're not.
People were comparing this to the MJ sections in Spider-Man. I'm like, no, it's fucking not.
No,
the MJ section was a completely different style of gameplay. This is hack and slash, beat 'em up. She gets a kick-ass sword. The biggest things I think legitimately to be concerned about is how does Frank work into this? It seems like he was a pretty big part of the fights.
Yeah, because they were doing combo moves.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, Frank is the big square that's on the cover
art. The big
art.
blue cube.
And then the ribbon around the sword is the other one.
Right. See, one of the things I heard that they're hoping that Frank goes away is because they were like, I don't want the constant communication and talking. That was the least fun. That was my favorite part of the God of Wars was, what was the head's name? I forget his name.
Mimir.
Mimir talking was like one of my favorite parts of that game because it, like in the parts where you're traveling, Mimir's talking, you're on a boat, and he's giving a story. That breaks up the lull, and it's like it gives me like I'm not just rowing a boat somewhere. Like I'm hearing a story as I go. Like people are hating on that part too. I'm like I don't get it. Like that's a core part of the new God of Wars.
So,
Listen.
Oh, go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say to you, Yildiz, you don't get Jack Quaid in and then kill off his character 20 minutes in.
So, not having played any of the God of Wars, I enjoyed the trailer, even though I make my fun of saying it all died after Marathon. I enjoyed the trailer. It looked fun. It looked interesting. Not having been in this universe, not one bit, that big blue cube, Frank, is going to turn out to be something important in the end.
Absolutely.
I just that's how these games or even the movies, your most obscure stupid character will be something super important in the end.
Especially as it relates to the sword. There's even a character in it that tells you blatantly to your face that sword is not what it seems. So there's going to be something that comes up and there's a reason the sword is in Frank. So that was the state of play. Like,
hold on, Matt.
I thought.
You mind if I point out a few more things on God of War?
Go right ahead.
So, I mean, I listened to a little bit of the Cory Barlog talk about this and kind of some of the views on what they want to do with the game. They wanted to portray the afterlife and how God's kind of managed there, which is a far more deeper look than we saw, because Kratos has been to Hades before, but never anything like this. And it's kind of like almost like a train station, it seems, of gods, where these deceased gods go to like struggle for power. And we see one of the gods there, if they looked very Egyptian, that's because it's Sekhmet from Egyptian mythology. And you've got all these different mythologies and all these different gods, which is a perfect jumping off point for them to transition to another mythology. So the combat be looking still brutal and crisp and great, and the chance to bring in all these other mythologies and not just jump to, say, Egypt like everyone thought they were going to do, I think it's pretty brilliant. So, yeah, I mean... Or
also the fact that they can go back to the Greek mythology and you can start getting Zeus, Hades, all of them back in, too.
Yeah. No, so I thought it's a pretty good... we originally, and I think we talked about it in the show, where they said they weren't going to do... Because it took so long to make the games, they were only going to do 2 games in the Norse mythology. This kind of... I know this isn't necessarily Norse, but since Faye was introduced in the Norse mythology and it's going alongside the timeline of Kratos in Norse mythology, I kind of see this as a third game, but I think it's a very clever way to do a third game in Norse mythology, since obviously Odin, we know what happened at the end of God of War or Ragnarok, but at some point we may see some gods from the Norse pantheon here as well. So,
Could you imagine? Who is this woman? Oh, that's the wife of a god killer named Kratos. And the Greek gods are like, And
also, this is...
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm out.
We're fucked.
I tail it out of here. But also, this isn't Ashley from Resident Evil 4. Like, obviously, she is of giant descent. So, like, Faye has obviously some badass to her, so which we saw in the fighting. So, yeah.
I'm really hyped for this. Like, I'm really, really excited to play this. The fact that we're staying in that mythology, 1, excites me. 2, they've said that they're gonna go back to Kratos as God of War. So, like, everybody can just calm the fuck down. This looks fun. This looks great. I'm excited to play this.
So, speaking of excited, I think this state of play, minus the marathon, was a really good explanation of what's coming. Listen, Wolverine and God of War, 2 first-party Sony studios, which is the thing that we've been complaining about all this time, saying, hey, Sony, when are you actually going to put out some games and not depend entirely on your third party?
Also,
and
that's first party.
Is that?
Yeah, they own Until Dawn. Dude. Because if they didn't own Until Dawn...
I think Fire Sprite?
Well, if they didn't own Until Dawn, then why would Supermassive allow them to make it?
Own Fire Sprite.
Yeah, I think they own Fire Sprite.
Yeah, they do own Fire Sprite.
Yes. Okay. All right. So there you go. Obviously in the last year we got Saros and what else did we get? I can't remember what we got in the last year from a from Sony?
Ghost of Yote
Anybody?
was last October.
Ghost of Yote. Okay. So now they're starting to kind of come on their train of let's get games out. Again, God of War looks fantastic. Until Dawn, from what we saw, looked great. Wolverine is building up to be an awesome hack and slash. So I don't know your guys' overall opinion. I know some of the state of plays recently have kind of been meh.
I liked it overall. I thought it was a very good state of play, especially like in the theme of E3. What I really liked the most about it was everybody got something. Like I said, they didn't stay with one genre of game too long. They hit on, except for Marathon, they hit on things that wasn't out. This is what's in the pipeline. This is, announcements that nobody knew they were working on. And very little talking. And I think that's what kills a lot of state of plays is let's sit here and chit-chat forever and then we'll show you something. It was just kind of a setup. And then here you go, several trailers.
Did you hear that, Jeff Keighley? Less talking.
Anyways, Alex, your thoughts?
I think that, people want to see more of Wolverine. They obviously check that box. And I think generally, again, you've got to have good participation from third parties. You've got to have good participation and good things to show from your own studios. And I think they gave us 2 surprises. And I think a good show has at least one good surprise. Until Dawn, even if you don't think God of War Laufey was a surprise, you got Until Dawn too. So I think they showed off 3 very promising, good-looking first-party games. One that's coming out in September being Wolverine, and then there was also good mix-in of third-party stuff. So no, I thought all 3 shows were good. I thought we got a lot of really good stuff. So
And Tricky.
I thought it was a great show. I know everybody hated on Marathon. I don't hate on Marathon. I'm not saying, everybody should love it, but they had to show Marathon, so that didn't bother me as much as it did other people. But I thought it was a good show. And I loved that we got the God of War announcement. I liked what I saw of Wolverine. I pre-ordered Wolverine instantly, and I also pre-ordered Tomb Raider instantly, so I'm waiting for those games. But I do want to touch on one thing. We didn't really mention release dates, so like all that much, but there are. I did say earlier in the show that there are a bunch of games coming out in September, which is why Thomas asked the question, goes, are we going to go broke in September? So the only game coming out in November, obviously, is Grand Theft Auto. But in September, we're getting Blood of the Dawnwalker, Wolverine, Warhammer 40,000, Dawn at War 4, Dune, Control, Resident, Silent Hill Townfall, Valor Mortis, Onimusha, and Minecraft Dungeons 2. Those are all coming out in September.
Okay. The only game I would be buying is Wolverine, so I'm not going broke.
No, but the point is that there's a bunch of games.
September ends.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of games that like you have to assume that are all going to come out in September.
They're trying to beat the Grand Theft Auto rush. Right.
And I think that September is going to be a very, very busy month for people because even though like Yield said, the only thing he's buying is Wolverine, possibly, there's a lot of games in there. A lot of people are going to want to play and not a lot of time to play it before Grand Theft Auto comes out.
Well, like I said, if it launches at $100, like they say it is, maybe they'll have longer than they think.
Yeah. Overall, I thought it was a good show.
Matt, did you give your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke a lot about it throughout it, but I think it stood up as a good state of play, especially compared to some of the ones we've gotten recently. All right, Tricky.
Like I said, it felt like E3. I'm just going to say that. This week felt like E3 of old.
And it's good. It's supposed to, especially when Jeff Keighley kicks off Summer Games Fest. Tricky, back to you.
Oh, you just had to do it, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Let's close out the show. Let's do some shout-outs. Matt, we're going to start with you first.
Shout out to you, gents, for recording. Shout out to Sid and Gareth for their contributions. Shout out to the Channel 3 community. Make sure to check out channel3.gg to gamify your social media. And shout out to my wife V. Thank you for all that you do.
Yield.
I knew you'd go to me mid-yawn. Shout out to Tricky, Matt, and Alex for recording this evening. Shout out to everybody who was hanging out in the live feed chat. Shout out to those who sent in questions this week. Shout out to the Brain 76, Prepare to Die Your Scum, and Nitro for all the co-op stuff this week. Shout out to all the pimps and the madams of the Whoredom for hanging out with us, downloading the show, helping create such an awesome community that we have. And shout out to Gareth for the rarity, not the rarity update, but the trophy competition that he puts together and the write-ups that he does. It's a lot of work on his end, and it's greatly appreciated. And shout out to what was E3 this week, quote unquote. It was an awesome week.
Alex?
Gonna shout out to the listeners, the fans, the fuel to the fire that is Trophy Horrors, our awesome community. Thank you all for all the questions, all the interaction. Thank you for supporting us. And for those of you listening live, we appreciate you all very much. Give a shout out to my co-host, Tricky, Matt, and Yield. Give a shout out to Will for his awesome artwork that he does for us every week. A shout out to Xbox and PlayStation for putting on good shows this week. Also, more importantly, a shout out to Jeff Keighley for hosting Summer Games Fest for us.
Oh, fuck you.
Last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend, Ashley. I love you, hon. And that is going to be all of me.
Shout out to everybody who listens to the show. Shout out to Dex and Nitro for coming into the chat. They didn't really talk that much, but they did say hi. Shout out to my co-host. A big twerp you to Nitro for allowing his friend group to keep trolling me on Facebook, which I know Yield is a part of.
Well, I'm not, what? Oh, the hole-in-one. Yeah, I gotta give an extra shout-out to Nitro. He's hit 2 hole-in-ones in a month's time on everybody's golf with 2 different golf swings. Suck that for luck, Tricky. Thank you for reminding me about that, by the way.
And a big fuck you to Jeff Keighley. You're a horrible host. Please, please, please stop talking.
Wow, you're more hard on him than I was with Aisha Tyler when she was doing the Ubisoft's E3.
At least she was entertaining.
That's what you think.
She was at least entertaining. Jeff, listen.
End the fucking show.
Hold on.
No, Tricky, end the show. Now, end the show or I'm hanging up right now.
If there's nothing else, until next week, happy trophy hunting.
See ya.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.